welcome to another episode of Mentally Ill with Dez Cortez. Man, and as always, my homie to the left of me, T. Hayes. What's happening,
What's
my baby?
going on, sir? How you feeling, man?
Hayes, no Hayes.
Hey, man, as always.
HP Gangster.
You feel me?
48203 all day.
Yeah, HP. Okay.
HP.
He said, okay.
Man, we got a great show today. I'm seriously super excited about this show. We're gonna talk about mental energy, and this is something that I never really knew about, understood, could talk about in my life as a kid. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about it with two people who become near and dear to me, and one of them is one of my closest homies, Emery Law.
What up, dog? What's the word, my guy? I'm proud of you, dog.
You like the top model in the D. You like the top underwear model in the D, bro. All day. Like, how do it feel, my nigga? How do
around
it feel,
people, it
bro?
sound like the underwear stuff.
You are, bro. Like, every time I go somewhere, like, this nigga be on the box, like. I'm like, that's my homie.
Right.
I wish, though. But I mean, hey, I take that just as a compliment.
All right, and then Karma come out on Tuesday.
Oh, the Karma premiere. Yeah.
Karma come out on Tuesday.
Okay. Tuesday.
And what's your latest stuff? Don't even go back to all the other ones. What's the latest? And then we got Dirty D.
Yeah, so Dirty D, and then you got All the Shine.
All the Shine, the horror
I'm
movie,
looking
bro.
forward to that one come out. And then Undying Love with Diesel and Sierra. So
I was able to see that one. That one hard.
that's why I'm waiting.
That one hard. And I can't wait to see the horror movie too, because I saw it in the trailer.
That's about
But I ain't been able to see it yet. Yeah. And it's dope that we stepping into different roles. You know what I mean? Stuff
Man,
like that too.
absolutely. We got to showcase that range because people watch our growth in these projects.
And
so it's like people can look at you and be like, I remember when you shot this 10 years ago.
And look how well, right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what they should be seeing.
Yeah.
And you playing the ghost, right? Speaking of ghosts.
Absolutely. That
was smooth.
My healer.
Grateful, man. Thank you. Humbled by that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Lisa Hillary Johnson.
That's dope.
How are you today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for asking. I feel good.
She
good,
balanced
good.
the energy out immediately. You know
Bro,
what I mean? Like just
she called my dog.
My headphones sound better, too.
She already know what everybody on, and she
Word.
can start balancing it out. It's just she's a healer of the room. That's why she probably asked him to leave. Fucking up the whole balance of the room.
I saw the look at first though. She was kind of looking like, all right, like you just gonna keep coming for me. Like that.
She did this. She was like,
we gonna do this?
This one over here. I'm sorry. We're not gonna look, and you're not about to have control of sound effects, bro. We are not. No more. We stop.
He was stepping this game up.
We have control.
He was stepping this game up, baby.
One of them
Right. Gotta love it.
Get out of here. But okay, so of course everybody understands the show is about mental illness, and it's basically about me understanding mental illness now as I go through this path of knowing that I quote unquote was mentally ill. So seeing all the things that I went through, the different paths that I took, the ways that everything unfolded, and then being quote unquote, diagnosed with being mentally ill, and the list of things that I was diagnosed with.
Yeah.
This show is a way for me to show how I quickly, and which it is quickly, was able to say, nah, let's switch this shit up. I'm not about to, be
a victim. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Right. I'm about to make this on some superhero shit.
Survivor.
And, that's what this is all about. And, I'm thankful for that because that doesn't happen with everybody. You know what I mean? And when I first came to Lisa, I came for a reading. And it was amazing. It was what I was thinking but at the same time, the reinsurance factor was
Real confirmation.
Right.
over the roof,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Okay.
Like when you bought the cards out, and me growing up as a kid, those cards, what they were saying in my house were
The devil.
Yeah, those the devil cards.
Yeah,
Don't, you know what I mean?
Witchcraft, yeah.
And when you brought them out, and you started laying, that shit was crazy. It was, and we will talk about that too.
Yeah.
With all that experience, but spirituality for you. When did you first check into it? How did it come about?
Well, I was a church girl. So honestly, like that's where everything came from, was that I was raised in church.
Okay.
So that's where like all of like my rootedness, my foundation comes from. But then as I went through it, I respectfully, I was like, this is like some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in it. So my people come from like pastors and deacons and all that type of stuff, the first mothers and founders of churches. And so like when you know too much and you have seen too much, you see what I'm saying? So I've always been gifted even as a child, so I always knew you wasn't right, you see? And so after a certain point, I kind of moved my way out and felt like, because in my family it was all about so-and-so was called or you were called. And so then I began to question who called you, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, he called me too, you know? And if he called you, well, shit is fucked up, you know? Like, that's how I was feeling. So then I just started going on my own path and doing my own journey and just researching, reading the Bible from cover to cover, studying with witnesses. My family believed that to know every religion is to truly understand, you know?
And that's the thing too. If people would just do the research,
Oh yeah.
like
That's
it's
true.
obvious, it's set in stone,
It's
it's
there,
happened.
yeah.
It happened before and before, and you know what I mean. Like everything is written on the wall, but people refuse to even just go and look at the research and look at the past and look at what people have done and been through.
Well, I mean, that probably explains why people never start, because they know they're gonna have to hold themselves accountable.
So low.
Nah, that's real, because I ain't never read the Bible front to back. As many times I've been in it,
haven't.
I ain't never read it front to back.
I've never read it front to back.
As many times I've been in it, but
I
I ain't
tried.
read.
I got to about Genesis 2, and that was it. I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna. I didn't. But
Yeah,
at the same
I be
time,
drifting. Yeah.
but if you do read it, it will reinforce everything about the spirituality that people are saying.
Right.
Well, most of the stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I really want this also be the opportunity for people to open themselves up, open their eyes to spirituality, to the ancestors. We're going to talk about that. Woo!
Yeah,
Hey,
you done said that a few times too.
hey, bro.
Figured you done tapped in the.
Bro. I'll let her talk
Talk
to you
one of
about
your
that.
great
I'll let her talk about that. You don't even really know necessarily exactly which ancestor it is. You just know, bro, they got you.
Oh, hey.
To the 1,000th degree. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a whole different look. Spirituality to you. What is it? How do you break into it? Like, what do you do? What is spirituality to you in your world as an actor?
Creatively, it's for me knowing that it exists. So for one, like always acknowledging it. Okay, like it's more so like we know God is in each of us. So it's like I see God when I'm looking at everybody anyway. But for me to try and tap in and usher that into creating and stepping into another character, I gotta ground myself. So it's certain things that trigger some of the bad mental, lapses that I had before. I try and stay clear of it. Sometimes I don't succeed every time. You know what I mean? So it's like there's moments where you do feel that trigger, but I'm acknowledging that I know how to move through it. So I know spirituality and also godliness, I carry it. I possess that. So it's like I like to call myself a godly man,
And we all grew up as Christians, right? I mean, as far as everybody grew up. Okay. So, right, like, that wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, for me to say, like, I'm about to go get a spiritual reading from my friend, or like she's about to do tarot for me. Like my mama might have kicked my ass out the crib.
I ain't never hear about that till we got older.
No, I saw it. You know what I mean? But they made it so taboo, right? Like it was only witches doing that.
But wait, but I have a question. If I was to do it in church, would it be taboo? Like if I was a prophetess in church and you came to me and I was sitting there. So really what I do is no different. Like if I was in church, that would be my job. Do you see what I'm saying?
But I know that now.
Yeah.
But it was like church has to give them that cloak, you should say.
To make it okay.
Right, exactly. Other than that, you can't have your own.
Isn't it interesting? You can't be gifted unless you're under the church's realm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta be in that crew.
That's not
true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what you doing is about to be used for the devil. And that always tripped me out. And it's a bunch of crazy things that end up happening in my church, you know what I mean, after everything was said and done, which all, if you become spiritual, makes perfect sense as you go along. And that's what I like about spirituality. Like, it makes perfect sense. It's no dry area. Ain't no, maybe it's like this, maybe like this. No, you're going to see exactly what everything is. And we got to open it up to people. And how can we do that without stepping on the toes of, quote unquote, Jesus?
I mean, I think there's a stepping of the toes. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's just what's going to happen. People were going to get offended, but people are always going to get offended. See what I'm saying? I'm a truth teller, and if the truth offends, then I offend all the time. You know, so it's about those things that are brushing up against you. But once you understand and you get the history and you do your research and you do your studying, the truth is there on its own, and it's for you to accept. You're only offended because of what you think or you thought, or you're attached to old patterns and behaviors, and that's your responsibility, not mine. Do you see what I'm saying? So at that point, you have to accept that. But once I read the truth and go, oh, I completely understand this now. You know, now I have to accept it and express it and not go, oh, well, because I was raised like this and I grew up, you know, saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, and my family, and if my grandmother was still alive, I probably wouldn't be doing this. Do you see what I'm saying? Just out of respect for my family, because, hey, you can do that over here, but not over there.
Right. That too.
That's
right.
Dope.
Sonny boy, spirituality, like when did it ever pop in?
Man, well, I had so many situations where I was tapping in and tapping out. But with me, man, like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. When I got it, or really when I had a better understanding of me, was through some situations I was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Where you get to them points where you feel like everything is crumbling, and then I had to have one of them come to Jesus moments, so to speak. You know what I mean? But for the most part, yeah. You know, when you hit that, and you kind of have a better understanding of what everything is, just like you were saying, you know, you see God in everything. Where I'm at right now, I really see it in every single aspect. Like, I hit a squirrel today on the freeway, and it fucked me up. You hear me? And I was like, why was the squirrel?
Because that squirrel
on the line. You feel me? Like, it was on the line.
It's you, though.
But hear me out, though. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So it threw me off.
That's why it fucked you up.
Right. Exactly. So because of that, and because I see we are built with the same features,
everything.
You know what I'm saying? We all got the same. It take the same, pretty much, vitamins and minerals to run everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you kind of realize that, it's just like, you know, I got a different respect for simple shit like water and air.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? I done had pets that done taught me lessons, like life lessons that I would have never thought about. But long story short, to answer your question, when I got back to me, because I haven't been back to me for a long time, and I ain't realized that, because it was like, you know, through some of the courses of my life, y'all done watch me go down different paths and do different things. Not necessarily, you know, all bad or all good. It was just like me trying to figure out who I was in the midst of me being here. Cause
hustling like a motherfucker.
Like a motherfucker. Like, you know, you know what I'm saying?
Hustling
just doing
like
what yeah, that's it. So it was just like, you know, on that mindset, man, just being able to know like when to leave a certain situation. I think I told you about that situation, like at the club. I left this club like minutes before it got shot up. And I'm talking about minutes, and it was just like something on me like, get up out of here, it's time to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be simple shit like that. So yeah, my whole relationship with the spirit world.
Did I ever tell the story about the whole ancestor thing for me?
No. You just mentioned it on here. Go.
And I'm gonna tap right in the hill right after this because I know she gonna read. Because first of all, meditation for me, like I didn't understand or whatever. You know what I mean? I just thought motherfuckers was resting. Right. You know, so people was just like, you know, you got to keep meditating. And I just didn't understand it. But I used to get, every time I used to meditate, I used to get this feeling right here in my head. Like you ever wore some glasses that wasn't your prescription?
Right.
And that like feeling, I kept getting it. And it got to the point where I couldn't even go to sleep. I had to like sleep a certain way. Like I had to put my head like in my, and people told me like, bro, that's your third eye about to open. I'm like, they like, quote unquote, your third eye. Right. I mean? And I'm like, whatever. I don't believe in no shit like that. Bro, one day I'm laying in bed, laying down, going to sleep. And I promise you, a universe.
I remember you telling me this story.
Came out my motherfucking forehead, my nigga. It sound funny, don't it?
The way you said
it sound funny, don't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to just.
But, yeah, no, not out your big ass forehead, nigga, out my forehead. But you can go and you can research people 200, 400, 600 years ago from all around the world who gonna tell you they had the same shit happen to them.
That's crazy.
So when this shit happened, bro, I'm flipping out because I understand this ain't no motherfucking dream. Mm-hmm. It's just way too intimate. It's way too deep. I'm way too conscious.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna open my eyes. And if it's over with, it was a dream. Man, I opened my eyes and nigga, that shit was still there, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's when I knew I wasn't in Kansas no more.
Right.
Look,
right.
For real, no bullshit. That's when I knew. I knew.
So what you had for dinner then?
It wasn't nothing like that. And you know what? They came to me when I was at my purest.
What you mean by that?
I had stopped drinking for like a year before that.
Oh, right. Okay.
I wasn't doing shit, bro.
Right.
Probably didn't have no money to smoke no weed. So I was like in my purest form at that time. Mm-hmm. And that's when they came to me. And bro, they showed me something that was the key to life. And I heard Morgan Freeman talking about it too, because he said the same shit happened to him. Mm. And all these movies is the same thing. Bro, my ancestors came, they was all waving at me. Like, and I didn't know it was ancestors then. I didn't know nothing. It took people to show me what it was. Mm-hmm. But now I completely understand and see why it happened. And if everybody can get that, this world would be just so much of a better place. I became so much of a better person after that understanding. Mm-hmm. And people
you feel
don't
like
have
what
it.
you had already experienced in life led you up to that? Like, as far as that's why you understood it when it happened to you? Because, like, what if it would have happened when you were young, super young?
I think it did.
Okay, I ain't never experienced it. That's why
I used to have imaginary friends. You know what I mean? They used to be like, man, Dez, like, you really like them imaginary friends is with you. And my brother tell you, I had like Lenny, BB, like I had imaginary friends with me that people used to be like, dog, like it's really like these people is with you. You know what I mean? And when I was college, like early, like I would see certain things that people didn't see. And I used to be like, man, people gonna think I'm crazy, so I ain't gonna say, I ain't gonna talk about that shit. But it was all trying to get my attention leading up for me to be who the fuck I needed to be for my ancestors, dog.
But outside of that, I think that people also need to understand that people, like, as a child, children come here gifted. Like, you are who you are when you get to the planet. And it's not that you can't develop these gifts later, but like I've seen things my entire life, right? But again, if I was coming from a church perspective and we were sitting in pews and I told you that and I was the pastor's daughter or I was the deacon's daughter, it would be more acceptable and more easily digestible for you.
Right.
But for me to tell you as a child like you, like I had a whole nother family that my mother got offended with. I had a whole nother mother, father, siblings with adult names that I did things with. Mm-hmm. But it's so hard for people to conceptualize that your spirit can't still be here. Mm-hmm. You know, like that once you die, you're gone. Like, and it's such a barrier for people to get, like, well, once you're gone, but are you? You know, don't you still feel people? And I challenge you. Is your name Tony? Mm-hmm. So, Tony, look. You was at that club that night, right?
Right.
I'm sure that wasn't the first time that happened.
No, not at all.
Right.
That was the first time that it was just like, whoa.
That was the first time it was like, whoa, right? Because it would have been busting in your head. So the internal spirit, so we're all still like by nature like animals and cannibalistic, like, so you know. So I compare it to like if this was the jungle and you was with your lioness and somebody walked up, like lions don't have conversations, you know what's good. Like you came over here, this is what you here for. Right. We ain't got to talk about it. Oh, she cute or let me just wave. Right. No, that's not what happened. I already know, right? So inside you knew like your oof was telling you like doom doom to doom to doom, like something is going on. Yeah. So that's no different. But what if you use that in every area of your life? You see what I'm saying? You just used it like right there. But what if you took that and span it across, right? You know what? I'm
glad you said that because it's funny because I was just talking about using the GPS not too long ago.
Yeah.
And they was like, why you use the GPS? I was like, because I go whichever way I feel.
Because you know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I avoided some major shit on 96, dog. It was crazy. It was crazy what I avoided.
Bro, I already told you, Flo.
Yeah, for sure. She definitely, man, what?
His mama? Oh, my God.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like, she definitely, bro. So, and that's why I want to get us into the meditation, the way meditation is, bro. Because when I close my eyes, my nigga, it's a party. You know what I mean? Like,
hand that to him.
It's not sleep, you know what I mean? It's like this like intense power, bro. Every time I close my eyes, like when I meditate, I go to another place. I feel totally different, as if you went to go take a shower, come out clean. That's what happens, bro. Your ancestors are here, and I just want all my people, dog. To feel that, bro.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that.
And especially with who as powerful as y'all.
Right.
You know what I mean? Me and Lo, we got together, acting together for damn near 20 years. Mm-hmm. One thing that we both face, alcoholism and depression.
Right.
And if it wasn't hitting us at different times, who knows what would have happened. He was there for me. I happened to be there for him. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just a path. But we have been together and stayed together for a very good reason.
So far, yeah.
And one of the reasons is for him to be here. Mm-hmm. And for him to listen from her. Mm-hmm. So we can understand where we going and what's about to happen.
Right.
All this shit happens for a reason. Every single last glare from the sun you get, dog. And when we start to understand that shit, man, and put that shit in perspective, we're going to go so much further. And I see it in the people who I'm around and the spirituality in them.
Right.
So let me ask you this. So do you... The way you describe and what you see, that's how I feel stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like...
Yeah.
I can feel a person's presence and see, you know, kind of like if they have something heavy on them, if they're like a very genuine person, or if they giving me a certain energy because I'm intimidating them. Yeah. Like I just try and pay attention to stuff like that, where it's like...
That was one of the first things too. It let me know who was fucked up. Like automatically it was like, bro, that don't fuck with my mans.
And you probably also knew who was fucked up and all they needed was somebody to just say, you good? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I'm understanding them feelings, but I don't...
It's just a matter of time.
It's not that vivid for me to see.
But you know what? It's only because it's not that everybody can't do that. It's just if you practice, no different. If you go to the gym physically, it's a muscle. So your third eye is a muscle. So what this is in here literally is your third eye. And the research shows that this is your pineal gland that sits in here. And so really, a pine cone, they compare that to it like the shape of a pine cone. That's like your pineal gland. The pine cone also strengthens your intuition, like from the tree. And the shape of a pine cone is sacred geometry, the way that it goes out. So it's just a whole nother conceptualism. And the true thought is that you're really supposed to see through your third eye. You're not supposed to see through these two eyes. You're only supposed to see through this eye. But because you're human, you question the stuff. Like you see it, just like I know you peeped, like when he came in and saw me, you peeped how I handled that. And I peeped that you saw how I handled that. Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
Kind of waiting, like, she about to, say something. Yo.
And I seen you do that, right?
I'm like, you can't let them bully you like that, yeah. Hold on, now.
I see, right, but it was just like this this internal communication. You notice me, I noticed you, and it's just something that you feel. Everybody necessarily doesn't do that already, right? So, but sitting in meditation and stillness not only is a space like for ancestors, but it's a space of realization. Like the truth is that we're all here on this planet, but we all have attachments, right? So this is the issue. So whether you're attached to, I'm comparing it to this drink, or attached to another role, or I'm attached to another healing event, or there's attached to the next thing that comes. But the goal in life is to be attached to nothing. You know, everything just comes and goes. And when you sit in stillness and meditation, that gives you that space to let all these emotions come up that you don't have to react to, that you don't have to say anything to, right. And that you can be still. But in that same time, ancestors show up, visions show up. So just like Dez, I get pure movies that just happen right here that just will go. Before my father went into the hospital and died, like I saw it and I was like, he's about to die. Like, and they'll tell me, like, so and so, but I was fine. Like, I know, right?
You at peace, dog. Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody has this. You know what I mean? Everybody going through all this, but everybody, this ain't nothing. Like, you don't gotta read nothing. You ain't gotta buy nothing. You ain't gotta do nothing. You just gotta be still, and it's there for everybody, dog.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, my biggest issue is I be questioning my own power.
So that's honestly, truthfully, that's most people's biggest issue, is because you question it, and the goal is not to question it. So listen, look at me, like, you know what you know, right?
Right.
Like for me, like you can't tell me, like we can have a meeting, you can have me sign a contract, you can tell me all this shit, but nigga, I feel you, this shit ain't right. I'm about to go. Right. You know, like I don't give a shit what none of y'all said in this room. I felt it. You not right, and I can see with how this is gonna bombard us, the fakeness, the smiles. I can cut through all of that, and so can you, because you see it. You see what I'm saying? But you question it because we as humans go, well, they were a nice person. Well, I'm just going to give them one more chance. Ain't no chances. You felt what you felt. Right?
It's more so connecting those dots, too, because, like, after I interact with people, I think about why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling after they're not around me. So it's kind of like, what exchange was that? You know, like, and I'm starting.
That energy exchange.
I'm paying more attention to that now because I never used to. I used to be like,
that meditation is like a connect the dots type thing too, bro. For real, like.
Are you an empath? I'm sorry, Dez.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Like, what is that?
If I am, I don't know it, but I know for sure. I've always been told you have a certain energy. You don't like the what I'm trying to say. I don't like attention like that. So when people are trying to draw that to me, it's kind of like I get out my own way. But now as I get older, I'm like, fuck it. If people think I'm arrogant, they just, hey, that's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly I'm not. But most people, I've been made to feel intimidated for a long time. So like about being that guy that stands out in a lot of ways.
But this is the thing that I think is fucked up in people. You are who you are, right? So don't hate me because I was born like this. Like, so you stand in that. So if you feel like I'm intimidatable, then I am. Do you see what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, and it's not my job. I always tell people, don't clear shit up about me. What you heard, you ain't got to clear nothing up. Take what you take. You see what I'm saying? I'm not clearing my name up for nothing. Right. Like, you know who I am, and if you don't know who I am and you choose to believe that, then we wasn't meant to fuck with each other no way, right? Like, so, like, for you, like, standing that, that's who believe you are. But King, you stand in that. You are. That's who you are. You see what I'm saying? And people see it, but people get intimidated by it, so then they project their feelings and their energy onto you, which then causes you to question on who you are and who you're supposed to be. But truthfully, you're supposed to stand in it and put your head higher, like, well, call me that shit. Yeah, now take my picture over here. You know, now do more. Yeah.
Like, when we met, dog, we were cool from the day of that audition. Like, cool. We had never met before. We like, hey, dog, I need to be around you. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't have to be said. But him and I talk a lot about mental health. It could be, hey, nigga, I done had a rough week. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went ham. I'm drinking whatever it was. My mind has been tampered with from the spirits and the alcohol. I know it. We both be aware of our actions, but still be doing the dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? But
because it comes from also what I learned was the depression.
Yeah,
bro.
Absolutely. You get pulled in it. Yeah,
and the trauma.
And the post, right?
The trauma, like it's hard. It's hard for Black men. We just got certified. Me and 6 other people. Where we do a 5 NP therapy for ear acupuncture, ear auricular therapy. But the treatment that we actually do was started back in the day by Mutulu Shakur from the Black Panthers. They took it into the hood to get their people off of drugs and alcohol. That was their treatment protocol. And part of the reason they had opened up clinics. It's a movie on YouTube right now called Dope is Death, and you can look that up and you can watch the whole documentary that shows it. But we've learned that treatment protocol, but we treat now, even in my space downtown, just for it to help people with that, and it helps with addiction. The whole treatment protocol is for addiction, to help you get off of it.
I don't believe there's any other way to get off addiction other than meditation or some form.
And honestly,
everything else is just masking it, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely, because it's like,
you know what you got to
you can pick it up and put it back down. So it's like,
and one thing too is like people go into that space feeling like they're alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One feeling that I had that can never go away once the ancestors came to see me was that I will never be alone. I will never feel alone.
Right.
I will never think I'm alone.
That's real.
I will
once you
never
got that connection,
act like I'm alone.
Right.
That feeling left my body for the rest of my life that day, my nigga.
Dope.
I believe it.
That's
Hands
dope.
down.
I feel
And that was one of the things that I knew I was going to take with me, period. And that's when I knew I would never be the same. Ever. It don't matter where the fuck I'm at, nigga. I'm never alone, nigga. Probably like be by myself so I can holler at everybody else so we can have a good conversation. And just in my meditations, though, it's how entertaining that shit is. Nigga, it's you. It's how you want to think. It's how you want to feel. It's going to conform. It's you. You're going to conform yourself to yourself about how you know what I mean, how you learn. It's just something that everybody has to have, especially if you had a life like we've had.
I feel that.
With the trauma, with the death, with everything that has happened, it's not only an explanation, it's to show you how, nigga, you got better, how the world got better, how everything can do better, because that shit happened that you thought was such a tragedy.
Right.
That too, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's just so powerful that and people be like, man, dog, how do you just allow so much stuff to roll off your back? Because it doesn't mean anything, dog. Yeah. When I lay down and I meditate, that has nothing to do with it. It's out of my life. Nothing has changed because of it, dog. And that to me is such an area that if all my homies I know who got like all the shit I got and the career, you know what I mean? If we can just go past that and go past like the shit that we was taught and what we had to see and could be who we really are, bro, can't nobody fuck with us, dog.
I can dig that. That's real.
Hands down.
Only because I've been trying, like I said, I've been learning. I've been dabbing. I've been telling you, on the series, we've been talking about it, but it was like I've been talking about doing meditation or whatever, but I always go to sleep. Don't get it twisted. So I'm new at it, right?
That's
but
cool.
I know.
That's honest as hell.
Yeah, I go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not.
Okay, but I have a question. Do you lay down?
No, that's what I was about to say. I don't. If I ain't sitting down doing nothing, I'm going to sleep. Not that I got epilepsy or nothing.
Do it soon as
but
you
it's
wake
just
up.
because I'm always doing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so then I was saying that space that you need more rest. You see?
Yeah, I probably do.
Like even because the goal of meditation too, which is not a bad thing, but the goal of meditation is not to go to sleep. And if you were in a guided meditation, we wake you up because the goal is not for sleep, but because you're going to sleep, it's saying that you probably just need more rest, right?
Right.
So then so you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I don't want you to feel like I'm doing it wrong or I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I don't feel like that because I still do it. And I'm gonna tell y'all like random. This vehicle I'm driving in particular, like it came to me literally the next day after me falling asleep to the shit on YouTube, right? I was looking at it like, let me check this out. Look. 24 hours later, I got the keys. You know what I'm saying?
Because it hit your conscious self.
But it was crazy because I didn't realize that until Kim asked me like, hey, you excited about your car? And I was sitting there like, nah, like I'm straight. And later on, like throughout the day, it was hitting me like that. Why is you not excited? Like, what the hell wrong? You know, like what's wrong? And it was just like I just feel like it's mine already. You know what I'm saying? Like
because it was.
I ain't excited about it. I'm just about to go pick it up.
But
and then it hit me.
That's that conscious self.
I was about to say, then it hit me. Nigga, you went to sleep to that shit last night. You drove off in the La La Land in the car.
I don't sleep.
You know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, in the car, and boom, it was mine in 24 hours.
What do you do for a living?
I work in logistics. I do a few things. I work in logistics. Yeah, I work in logistics.
Because everything that you're saying too, the things you're saying, it sounds like you're also like a manifester. Like what people will manifest what it is that they want, and that people have titles to that now, where they necessarily do it. But whereas though you've already claimed what you want, you've already said what's going to happen. Right. And I would choose to believe that's not the only time that happened to you. You've probably claimed other things.
That was the
made
one time
them
it was
happen.
fast. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right. Yeah, the one time it was fast.
It was just like, damn.
Right. So listen. So do you see how quick that can happen though? Right. So then what if you did that in everything? Like before, then you were questioning yourself. Even you still question yourself. Like that was weird, at the club when it was, but it wasn't weird. Right. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. So you'll know next time they won't have to scream so loud. Mm-hmm. They'll just go, "Hey Tony, it's time to go."
Oh yeah.
They won't have to be like, "Yo Tony."
See, but that was back when my relationship wasn't right. See, I was in a whole environment where I blended in. I blended in with the bullshit. Oh wow. And I was chosen to get up out of there at the right time.
Yeah.
So perfect. But,
you ever try to meditate?
Honestly, as y'all keep explaining it or describing it, I feel like I have at one point. But I think for me, I'm literally doing meditation at night then, because you ever lay there the whole time, eyes closed, you visualizing stuff, and you look up and it's like, it's been 6 hours. I ain't went to sleep.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Okay, but I mean, see, the only
you never know, bro.
I wish I could do that, bro.
But the confusing part that come with it,
5 hours ago, like these.
But the
confusing,
that's crazy.
But you've been up the whole time, like
But the confusing part is the anxiety that come with it. Sometimes is that because it's alarming you that much and you get overwhelmed, like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Because I'll get up like, yo, I can't sit still, just.
Well, no, here's the reality of it is that when you sit still, everything comes up. Right. So even right now, if we were sitting here right now and we weren't like on air and we could pause this or go, and I said, let's do a 10-minute meditation. How many of you are really realistically going to sit still throughout that time? You're going to keep doing this. You're going to keep adjusting, right? So that's you, because the things in yoga, we call them vrittis. Like, so there's these things that come up where you're going to go, I want to move my foot. Maybe I should do this. Should I go grocery shopping later? Should I call my wife? I don't know. Did somebody let me check my phone? But the goal is for you to come back to your breath, because all of those are distractions, right? Every single thing is a distraction. That's what you have to understand. And so in life, you don't need any other distractions. That's why meditation in silence is the best, because if you walk outside, that person's a distraction, this person's a distraction, and when you sit by yourself, 1,000 distractions come up. What are you going to do? So the anxiety builds because you're like, oh fuck, I want to get up. No, sit with that shit. Take a deep breath.
Yep.
Figure out how you're going to process that.
That's what I feel like we get distracted. Like as creators, I feel like we get kind of distracted, like
with
all
life.
these distractions. Yeah, where it's like it's kind of all about.
But you learn how to use it.
Right.
And once you learn how to use it, it's a whole nother story than what's happening when you regularly was getting fogged by it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it should be clear. It'd be scary.
Do you remember the tarot cards that I got when you gave me the reading?
Tell me which ones.
I don't know what.
Them was the tarot.
We pulled tarot. Yeah. I wish I would have brought my deck today.
Here,
I ain't know. I ain't over the devil cards yet. No, I'm messing with you.
They could be. Come on.
Oh shit!
Scroll to the left.
Oh, want me to explain them? Okay, I'll explain them.
You might want to. I don't know if you can show it to the camera.
This is hilarious. Okay.
I deleted all the pictures of me and your girl.
Okay. So this first one, this is disruption. That was the first card that you had pulled, which was this disruption. Right. And it meant that, and the number at the top is 16. So like there's this man in every area of his body is like coming apart. Like something's wrong. So that's why I'm like, yo, something is disrupted inside of you that's shaking you. It's time for like a change. Like, and when I pull it, or if I pull or I tell him to pull, you pull for yourself. This is your energy in it too. Plus, like my cards, do I see death? Yeah, but I see death more in other shit, not in cards or whatever. Right. And if you don't want to know it, I'm not the person that'll tell you, even if you don't want to know it, right? But this isn't that. This is disruption. This is like some shit is popping. Like, what are you doing? Your ground is shaking. It's earth shattering. And that was his first card.
Oh, that's me right now. Go ahead.
And then material harvest, like his material harvest is like someone sitting, it's like there's food, there's prosperity, something's coming to pass. So whatever you had that was sitting, whatever you had going, it's about the time now. This is like the fruits of your labor. This is whatever you had manifested on, like it's time to sit down and eat. Like even at the top, there's this light of this shining grace coming down. Yeah, I do remember this. And then root chakra. So root chakra, the body is set up into a chakra system. So there's like other systems in the body, but your chakra system, your root chakra, has everything to do with your financial security, your support, if you feel like you're rooted or you're grounded, or what do you need. And so he pulled this one, and then it just saying, hey, rooted, grounded, safe, secure, financially have everything it is that you need in it. So yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that was my first time ever doing, doing tarot, but it was some dope card, and I mean it just all makes sense once once you start like.
That's amazing, bro.
There's no logarithm. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing you got to put here, put there. You ain't got to know this. You ain't got to know this.
But see, this is something that I really want you to understand. Us as culturally, as Black people, this isn't anything new. This is what we come from. You understand? Like back in the days, even before we came here, like our people are root workers. How many of your aunties or your grandmothers or your grandfathers had their feet, their hands in the dirt? They were making things. How did they know how to make it? How did they know to prepare those meals? How did they know how to heal you? Like, I just know what to do. Do you see what I'm saying? It's in your blood. Like what I do, this is bloodline. It's not just me. This is generational. The stuff that I do, like they tell me what to do. Right. This is everything. So if this is something that was in your family, if you can look back and go, my auntie would always say this, or so-and-so would always say this, or like my auntie will say like, yeah, Lisa, she know. You know what I'm saying? Where even though I was the baby or I was the youngest, it was like, she got it. Right. She gets it. So you got an auntie like that who you have to connect to. But this is Black people's heritage. You see what this is what we do. We can see. Your grandmother would always be like, don't bring them back over here. What's wrong? Right. Nah, I don't care. And we ain't talking about it. It was never a conversation, no, and I don't have to tell you about no chakras or no third eye. That shit don't feel right. Don't bring them back. Right. What's wrong? I don't know.
Right.
Or if they look at a baby, that baby ain't right. That baby ain't even been tested yet. But she's not the baby. But they just...
That ain't your baby.
They just know. Right?
That's real.
They just know. So why are you any different?
Right.
And I also think as humans, we kind of just automatically glass over it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because, as you know, worked at the zoo, study animals.
Yes.
One thing about the elephants where we would study the elephants and we would see that elephants would be able to go to certain places even though they were never taught how to get there. And you like, wait, how? How were they able to get to this place? Because they're so in tune with their ancestors,
they told them which way to go,
and they went and they got it. But they're more in tune with that.
Yeah.
Elephants listen to that all the time. It's like elephants got a great memory. Elephants just understand what's going on,
listening.
And they can see if you was a bitch then or you a bitch now. They don't have nothing trying to block them away from what their ancestors is teaching them, and that's why they can take their whole troop on thousands and thousands of miles, like because they're being led by their ancestors through their.
But listen, I'm saying too, if you guys really listen to yourself and didn't just get distracted with the way life put you, and you really listened to what your spirit had told you to do, would you do the same thing? You know what footsteps to go in. You know which way to go. If you didn't let people talk you out of it or have you make bad decisions or get in bad relationships to distract you from which way you were supposed to go, you knew what you were supposed to do. Like, or even the work that I do before my father had passed, before he got sick, I had a spell. I do spells. I do magic work. But no one, like, taught me specifically some of these things. Like, I feel it, and sometimes, it just tells me what to do when he comes over and goes, oh, Mama used to do that. Now, I would never have known that. My grandmother comes from the church. She would have never shown that. I almost passed out. What are you talking about? Like, and then so I'm not even me. You see what I'm saying? I'm only a product of my ancestors. Like, I come through as them. I'm just another representation of them. So they tell me what to do. I don't even know what I'm doing most of the time.
Right.
Even when I'm doing stuff, I don't know how. People are like, how do you know that? I don't fucking know. Like, I just know. Right? I just know. Like, and I can feel it inside of me, and I know it. Like, I could take a test and pass it with 1,000%, and I've done no studying.
Right.
So what do you call that? You know?
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. It's just truly amazing. It's just a shame, that we weren't able to be raised with that.
Yes.
Especially with everything that Black people have been going through, for the last few hundred years or so. You know what I mean? How tough it was on people and what everybody had to go through. And not being able to lean on your ancestors,
Yes.
and having to do it all alone and feel alone. And that to me was just a tragedy. And I just really can't in good stand and feel like I can go around and not tell people about it. You know, like, I gotta tell the good news. Like, motherfucker, I gotta tell the good news. For real, dog. You know what I mean? Like, it happened. Like, I really gotta tell this good news because I know how important it is for everybody. And you don't have to go outside of nothing that you already feel and think truthfully to understand this. You know what I mean? And it's just a huge blessing. It's just and Lisa, I remember you told me that you suffered from panic attacks.
Yeah, I'm mentally ill. Yeah.
With Dez Cortez.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I have been my whole life. Like, so since I was a child, I've had depression, anxiety, social anxiety disorder. And then but honestly, a lot of gifted people do. So it makes things even harder. You see what I'm saying? Because then you're like, that's why gifted people, you either be gifted or you be crazy. Right. So you either be gifted or you be standing on the corner trying to get people to come to God. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just like, I'm so crazy in that same space of it. But I went on that and tried to figure out. I used to be on 3 different medications. I did a year in therapy for a week, and that's how I got into what I'm doing now. But my therapist at the time, I went to a very conscious therapist. So she had me listening to metaphysical people back in the day before it was something. So I've been this journey for over 20 years. And so I went and got a massage, and it relaxed me. Since then, I'm a licensed massage therapist. I teach massage therapy. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a trainer. Like, my whole life has been dedicated to healing and calming down. I'm a plant medicine healer, and I heal myself off of plants. So I'm no longer on pharmaceutical medications, but I take about 7 to 8 plants a day, and I do different things to help balance my nervous system so I can be okay.
Right. That's dope.
Word.
That's big right there.
You ever feel it trickling back up, or you feel like you pretty much got it?
No, I got it under control, but hell yeah, that shit trickles back up. But look, I got so many modalities, like, so even in the middle of the night if something come, like, I get up, I put my stuff in my ears, I got all type of cortisol and magnesium. Fuck that panic attack got 2 seconds, you see what I'm saying, before it's gone. I'm like, go.
But you understand how to naturally
take
care of a natural occurrence, which things that happen to everybody has been happening all around this world, but people have understood how the earth has put things here for you to be able to take in.
All plants heal. All plants have a healing purpose. Right. That's their purpose on the planet.
And that's why we kind of run from that. You know what I mean? Like, in America, we don't treat the actual disease, you know what I mean? We just treat the symptoms. We know we just try to keep a motherfucker pacified so they can keep coming and buying the drugs and buying the drugs and buying the drugs and buying the drugs, because they don't want you to understand that you can hit some magnesium, or you can do this and you can do that and be perfectly fine without having all them other side effects that you gonna have to buy more drugs from their ass for. Right. And they don't want you to understand that shit.
Oh boy. Whatchamacallit started that too. I just learned, if I'm not mistaken. You can fact check me, let me know if I'm wrong, but I believe it was John D. Rockefeller that had his hands in
the pharmaceuticals. So back in the day, like, honestly, I've heard that too. Like, but back in the day, it was plant medicine healing, and even when we were coming from kings and queens, that's what people healed from. There was no pharmaceuticals, and truth to be told, when there was big plagues back in the day, they healed from essential oils. Like, that's what got them rid of different things. They have certain blends that they did, and if you fact check it, most medicines have a plant thing in them. Like, they're based in the plant, but they only take a piece of the plant. They don't take.
But they make it from petroleum. All of it comes from petroleum.
Or they saw what the plant did and try to mimic it through chemicals. Like, how? When you could just grow the fucking plant.
But because then you can't make the money. So like he's saying with John D. Rockefeller, when everything comes, when everything changed, and when the aromatherapy, people realized this was a healing thing, and people had apothecaries everywhere, then it's like, but then no, we need to make money. So doctors' offices, dentists, the money has to come in. It's still weird how this day men became gynecologists, as you can think of that as midwives though, but most of them, how the fuck did that happen? The men came in to be doctors over women's bodies when midwives, but when midwives were the ones that were in charge, right? So it's never been about that space to be in front of that. So it was always essential oils, and they
but everything in the world, that's what be overwhelming me sometimes, just randomly, where I'm like, why is everything so manipulated over money?
Everything.
Because it is.
Everything. Like you literally
that's
there
a whole
to
nother show.
just to. I know, but that's what I'm saying. You talking about random depressive thoughts? That'll pop in my head and be like, I quit. I'm sick of this shit.
Spirituality will explain it all, and it'll make so fucking perfect sense. You're gonna be like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that
No,
really.
well, and here's the thing, because you have a heart, right? So in
Exactly.
pure, you care, and so I'm like I feel you inside, like internally, my heart to yours. You know, like you care about humanity. So what are we doing? You know, why are you behaving like this? You know, which is why my circles are very small, because I'm like, no. And if I walk, I'm like, yo, you're not right.
I'm
like
learning
I can't
that.
mess with
Yeah.
people if you're not right. Like, and there you have to have some type of moral code or compass that you stand on.
Yeah.
And if you don't have some type of moral code or compass, then you'll just go disarray, right?
Think about when the Native Americans saw the white people coming over here. They couldn't. They was like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Why? Like literally.
Why? Like, what?
Right.
What?
Why?
Yeah.
And y'all acting like y'all more like what?
Important.
You know what I mean?
Man,
Like,
that's what I'm
no,
saying.
We got this shit in there. Like y'all making shit work. You know what I mean? So it's just how we were taught, what we've been seeing, what was forced upon us, the way to get money, and you know what I mean? We got hearts. People came over and took over this world who had no heart, and the people didn't allow them to. They just couldn't believe that these motherfuckers go over
Right.
here
How,
doing this.
why would you even do this?
Like, how
I
old
know.
are you? All right, man, we
Why?
gotta go, man. I'm gonna have to get a 2-hour show next time, dog.
I was about to say this was short.
Damn, man, this is the shortest hour in the world, my nigga, every time.
It was necessary though, man.
Oh,
Right.
all day.
Very
I know what you're
necessary.
doing.
Great job with this shit.
Hill, please, thank you so much.
You're
Please, I'm
welcome.
definitely gonna have you on a million more times.
I'll be back.
But please tell everybody where they can see you at, how they can come get a massage, how they can get some healing, fuck with some shrooms,
Thank you.
all that shit.
My website is probably the best, LisaHillaryJ.com, www.LisaHillary.com. From there, like all my social media, Lisa Hillary J again is my Instagram. But we teach yoga classes Monday through Wednesday. Gosh, I'm in the middle of a yoga teacher training right now. We've got about 13 students. We also do psilocybin journeys, plant medicine healing, and then I didn't even tell you, Dez, I started a nonprofit organization for the sexual assault healing of Black women, and I just received a
what's up.
2.5-year grant for
We gotta
that.
do a whole show on that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's coming with all the the different healing modalities too. And for the summertime, outside of that, I'll be teaching at the Boston Tea Room every Saturday at 3:00, a yoga class outside.
That's in Ferndale?
In Ferndale. So I'm outside. Like I'm in the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello, man. How can they see you next movie? What's happening?
Oh man, honestly, you could stay up to date. And for one, I'll tell you immediately up front, I appreciate all support given to me. Anybody who admires my projects, thank you. This is what I do it for. But you can catch me on IG, Emory_Law, and on Facebook, just Emory Lawrence. But I post a lot of stuff in my stories that, that'll give you updates on projects coming out. And again, I appreciate everybody that's listening to this and all the support.
My dog.
And you, my nigga, for bringing me on here. Yeah.
Damn. Smooth Way, what's happening?
Not much, man. This was a great show, man. Great show. Once again, appreciate
Thank you, man. Hey, man, thank you for everybody who listened. Thank you to the Shadow in the Darkness.
it. Yes, sir.
Million Miles. And we will see you next Sunday. So are we switching times? We see you next Sunday at 10 o'clock because I know he ain't about to switch no time. Next Sunday at 9 o'clock. We'll see y'all.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
And if we ain't on it, then we'll just play it again.
Right.
We out.